Your internet bill went up again this month, and the company won't tell you why. The easy answer: infrastructure costs money. New fiber optic cables, server upgrades, network maintenance, it all adds up. Providers will tell you that's where your extra dollars are going. And here's the trick: some of that is actually true, but it's not the whole story, and the part they leave out is the reason you're paying more than someone in the next state over for identical speeds. Let's start with what we can actually see: the infrastructure argument. Between 2010 and 2020, the number of internet users in America nearly doubled. Demand exploded. Providers genuinely did need to spend billions upgrading their networks. Verizon, Comcast, AT&T, all of them were laying cable, replacing aging copper lines, adding capacity to handle streaming, video calls, remote work. The math seems straightforward. More users, more infrastructure needed, costs get passed to consumers. But then you notice something odd. In 2015, your bill was $89 a month for 100 megabits per second. In 2024, the same speed, not faster, the same, costs $119. That's a 34% increase. Yet the cost of fiber optic cable has dropped roughly 50% over that same period. Something doesn't add up. This is where geography enters the picture. In areas served by multiple providers, say, a dense urban neighborhood where Comcast, Verizon, and a local fiber company all compete, average broadband costs run about 20% lower than in areas with one or two choices. And here's the forensic detail that matters. In regions with genuine competition, price increases track closer to actual inflation. In monopoly territories, they don't. The reason? Regional monopolies. Most Americans can't choose their internet provider. Comcast dominates the Northeast and much of the Midwest. Charter controls the Southeast and parts of the West. AT&T and Verizon own the telecom infrastructure across most rural areas. This isn't accidental. It's the result of how broadband infrastructure was built and regulated in the 1990s and 2000s. Here's where the money trail gets interesting. When a provider is the only option in a market, they face no price pressure from competitors. They can raise rates without losing customers because those customers have nowhere else to go, and they do consistently. But the question becomes, where exactly does that extra revenue go? Not all of it goes to infrastructure. Carriers have been investing in infrastructure at roughly the same rate for years. What's changed is the amount they spend on other things: executive compensation, shareholder dividends, spectrum licenses, and perhaps most important, lobbying to protect their regional monopolies. Between 2015 and 2023, major carriers spent over $500 million combined on federal and state lobbying. Why lobby so aggressively? Because cities and states keep trying to build their own broadband networks or allow municipal fiber to compete. When that happens, incumbent providers lose market share fast. Prices drop, speeds improve. So carriers pour money into legislative efforts designed to block municipal broadband, restrict competition, or slow approval for new entrants. The second piece of the puzzle is bundling. Providers discovered decades ago that when they sell you internet, TV, and phone as a package, you're less likely to leave. But here's the accounting trick. They artificially inflate the price of TV service and undercut internet to make it seem like internet is cheap. Then they gradually shift the pricing. TV becomes optional, internet prices climb. A customer who once paid $120 for a triple play bundle now pays $95 for internet alone, but that's only because they canceled TV. The provider didn't lower the price, they just separated it. And if that customer ever upgrades speed or gets a promotional rate that expires, that internet bill climbs back up toward or past $130. The third factor is less visible but equally important: the cost of holding onto customers. When you try to leave, providers offer retention discounts. When you're a new customer, they offer promotions. These are real costs, money out the door, but they're counted differently in accounting, and they distort the picture of what broadband actually costs to deliver. Now, infrastructure costs are real. Maintaining and upgrading networks does require serious investment, but in competitive markets, those costs stay roughly proportional to the service delivered. In monopoly markets, providers have the freedom to raise prices faster than costs rise, and they do. The gap between cost increases and price increases is where the real profit lies. The data backs this up. Providers in competitive markets spend roughly 15 to 18% of revenue on network maintenance and upgrades. In monopoly markets, that figure is closer to 10 to 12%. They're not investing more aggressively in areas where they face no competition. They're investing less because they don't have to earn customer loyalty through superior service. So what's the money actually going toward? Shareholder returns primarily. Between 2015 and 2023, major broadband providers returned over $150 billion to shareholders through dividends and stock buybacks. That's real cash leaving the company that could have gone toward infrastructure, customer service, or lower prices. The implications are significant. In cities where municipal fiber or competitive providers entered the market, average broadband prices fell 20 to 30% within 3 years. Speeds didn't just stay the same, they improved. Customer service got better. This happened without any subsidy. It happened because competition works. But in most of America, that option doesn't exist. Regulatory barriers and incumbent lobbying keep competitors out. Your bill keeps rising not because infrastructure costs are skyrocketing, but because there's nobody to stop the price increases. And here's the trick: the companies know exactly what they're doing. They have internal documents showing the elasticity of demand in different markets. They know precisely how much they can raise prices before people start canceling. They use that information to optimize revenue, not service. This isn't speculation, it's how every monopoly operates when regulation is weak and alternatives don't exist. Your internet bill is rising because you have no choice. Infrastructure is part of the story, but it's not the main one. The main story is market power and how it gets exercised when competition disappears. Understanding that distinction matters because it changes how you think about the problem and what solutions might actually work. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research. Subscribe to get the full financial story behind your rising costs. Every week we follow the money on another everyday expense you thought you understood. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research.